Good morning all. Hello, my name is Damen from Linnk. I'm responsible for channel in the Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg. Together with the team, we try to serve our customers as good as we can in the Belgium, Dutch and Benelux and the Luxembourg market. It will be a presentation about 30 minutes, but I will do a small intro of who is TP-Link, how does our company look, and where do we come from. But first of all, as a good commercial person, I would like to show the promos we are at this moment running together with Copaco. We have several bundles based on the Omada SDM products, as Eric will present later on in this presentation. So please contact your salesperson within Copaco to find out more of these details. The discounts are really amazing at the moment. Who are we? TP-Link is a Chinese company. TP-Link is a Chinese company with a headquarters in Shenzhen and factories all over the world. We are producing, since 1996, all kinds of network-related products. In 1996, our CEO, Jeffrey Tsao, started with producing network interface cards. Slowly, we moved from the network interface cards to network switches, and from network switches, we are now one of the leaders in the network market, as well as volume in nominal numbers of products, as well as in volume of money. TP-Link has six different business parts. The first one is consumer networks, where we make the home routers, home switches, etc. The second one is the smart home. And smart home, that are switches, intelligent power connectors, intelligent light bulbs, etc., etc. The third part of the business of TP-Link is the OEM business. TP-Link produces a lot of OEM products for different other brands. By example, if you have solar panels on your roof and you have a converter from Goodwe in your house to come from the DC power to AC power for your solar panels, the Wi-Fi connection from that converter to the internet is made by a small device produced by TP-Link. The fourth business we do is enterprise smart surveillance. TP-Link is one of the largest camera manufacturers and producers in the world. We have also in China and in Asia our own security line, complete with network attached video recorders, etc. The fifth is service providing markets. By example, in the Netherlands, we have now the mesh solution for Ziggo. And last but not least is our own business. That's the enterprise network products business. This is relatively a new business for TP-Link in the Benelux market. We are already producing for more than 10 years different business network products. But for the last 2 years, there's a real strong focus on these products in the Benelux market. Also in Wi-Fi, we have a large footprint. Actually, we are the #1 producer of Wi-Fi equipment in the world for 10 years on a row. To give an idea of our market scale, according to the latest IDC report, we have a market share of 42% in the Wi-Fi market, while the #2 has a market share of 8%. So the gap between the #1 and the #2 is quite large. What makes us different from the other vendors? Well, first of all, is that we are a real manufacturer. We own our own factories in different parts of the world, China, Vietnam, and Taiwan, where we really produce. So that means there will be some plastic granulate coming in a factory, and at the end of the factory, there's coming a molded plastic product out. We also create our own motherboards. We create our own antennas, etc., etc., etc. That's a big difference compared to other vendors, that we are a real factory. We do that in around 170 countries in the world. And we serve around 1.2 billion consumers worldwide. Because we are in so many countries in the world, we also have in every country where we do business, almost in every country where we do business, we have our own offices. For the Netherlands, where the Benelux team is suited, We have an office in Nieuwegein, nearby Utrecht, where 32 people are working daily on a daily basis to serve the Benelux market. And in Belgium, we have a small office in Brussels, where our 4 colleagues for the Belgian market are working on a daily basis to serve our Belgian customers. As said before, we produce everything. If you look to this product, what you can see, the antennas are produced within TP-Link. The plastic is molded within TP-Link. We make our own heat sinks. We make our own motherboards. We make our own network ports. The only thing we don't produce are the Broadcom or the Qualcomm chipsets on the motherboards. Of course, we use the best brand for the processors in our products. All products are also developed in our own house. That means that we have several developed R&D centers worldwide, where more than 2,500 people are working on a daily basis to develop our products. Pre and after sales service is arranged in the countries itself. That means that a Dutch-speaking person can speak with a Dutch-speaking help desk person. French-speaking person can speak with a French-speaking help desk person, and an English-speaking person can speak with an English help desk person. All these help desks are in the countries where we are suited. For the Benelux market, it is the Netherlands, but our agents are multilingual. Of course, besides that, we have an excellent pre and after sales service. We also have our own community on the internet, where people can look. Normally, if you type in a product number, you can find all the latest software, all the latest release notes. All the information is directly findable in 3 clicks on our website. So one time in short, before I give my word to Eric Mulder, the 6 advantages of TP-Link: 10-year warranty on all B2B products, local support based in the Benelux, margin for everybody in the channel, high product reliability. We know from tests that our products are more than 6 times reliable than from other vendors. We have a wide and deep product portfolio. We have switches for 5 ports with power, 5-port switches without power, till 48-port switches with and without power in all types of software which can be on a switch. And last but not least is our stock. Our stock is suited in Tilburg in the south of the Netherlands. And that means when you order something and it is not on stock with our distributor, it can be delivered in 2 working days. So that means a very short supply chain and not waiting for longer production. Well, this is actually the end of my part. I'm happy to give my word to Eric Mulder to do the more technical part about Omada SDN. Eric, please.
Thank you, Frank. For the next a couple of minutes, I will take you through our Omada SDN product family, a product family that consists of access points, Ethernet switches, and security gateways, all folded into a single seamless and centrally manageable solution. The next slide highlights this fact that we can, with the Omada SDN solution, manage our own access points, switches, and gateways. Our control solution, our software-defined controller, comes in 3 different flavors. First, we do have a hardware controller, the Omada controller 200, OC200. It's a small box that contains the Omada SDN software and allows you to have the controller on site, on premises. For larger networks, we have the software controller. This is software provided by TP-Link without cost, allows you to install the software on a server of your own choice inside your own network, from where you can manage Omada networks up to 1,500 devices. And lastly, we provide a cloud-based controller. In that case, you don't have to supply your own hardware or buy the controller from us. We will provide a multi-tenant cloud platform from which you can manage all of your access points, switches and gateways throughout the network, regardless of location, from a single interface. Well, this is a picture of the Omada product family. We see the small box on top, which is the Omada hardware controller. In the middle, we see a security gateway, and at the bottom of the stack, in the center, we see one of our 24 ports Ethernet switches. Surrounding it are access points. We have access point ranging from Wi-Fi 4 through Wi-Fi 6. And the big round-shaped access point is one of our new Wi-Fi 6 access points. And on the right-hand side of the picture, we see an outdoor access point and a wall plate access point. And these wall plates fit nicely onto a standard Western European wall outlet box. This could look like the following. I mean, we have taken an example from a hotel business where we would place the ceiling-mounted access points in the bigger rooms, like a conference center in the hotel, for example, in the lobby, where you would have larger numbers, higher densities of users. Whereas in the hotel rooms themselves, we would place the wall plates, allowing for perfect coverage inside of the hotel room, but not leaking too much signal to adjacent rooms. In the outdoor areas of the hotel, like the swimming pool, we would place the outdoor access points, and they are IP67 rated and can withstand all kinds of weather conditions and could operate between -40 and +70 degrees Celsius. Finally, you see the security gateways on the top right hand of the slide, allowing you to connect to the internet and providing all of the necessary security features. The management facilities in this example comes from the cloud-based controller, where you would use your browser, either Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, or other browsers to access the user interface. And alternatively, you can install the Omada app, which allows systems administrators that are mobile and must be running around your premises. And for this scenario, we have the Omada app allowing you to view, but also change configurations of your network. The cloud-driven variant of the Omada controller does offer a couple of things which the on-premise controllers do not offer. And most prominently among them is the AI-driven technology, where the cloud intelligence will constantly monitor your network, try to detect anomalies, try to detect errors, and then try to correct them automatically if possible. And otherwise, it will notify the systems administrators that a change in network settings might be appropriate. The cloud controller also offers zero-touch provisioning, meaning that new devices can be placed at remote offices almost without human intervention. Only a few minor steps are needed to add a new device to the existing network. With our cloud solution, we have a complete separation of user traffic as opposed to the systems management traffic. So users don't have to worry about their data going to some foreign cloud. Only the information on the infrastructure itself is being transported to this cloud in order to be able to manage the network. The cloud service provides a high degree of availability, and we offer an SLA of up to 99.99% availability. We've already spoken about our controllers. The zero-touch provisioning indeed is limited to our cloud-based controller proposition. Only a handful of steps is needed where devices are shipped to their final site. So this could actually ship from Copaco directly to the site where a new access point or a new switch is being deployed. When you plug the device in, it will automatically register with the cloud service. And the admins can then place the device in the correct context by scanning the barcode containing the serial number and the MAC address, and then can place the device in the correct site. Once it is placed in its context, the appropriate site, the new device will then get its configuration from the Omada controller, containing settings like the security keys, like the bands being used, the center frequencies being used, and the transmit powers that are being used at that particular site. All the while, the systems admins can monitor this progress from a centralized console, allowing them to do analysis, view errors, warnings, or recommendations from the intelligent machine learning system. Also, within this Omada Cloud Controller, we can have multiple admin roles. All administrators, all people responsible for some task for network management can be assigned either to the entire company or to particular branches of the organization. In this example, offices or regions in the US, the EU, or Asia Pacific, where we can assign different administrators to manage the network. Alternatively, we have other roles like a read-only administrator, a person who can only view all settings and all configuration. And we also have roles for people to operate the Omada app, to scan the barcodes of devices, to be able to add new devices to the network. So we had this delegation of roles and delegation of management tasks to users before, but this mechanism has been extended recently so that we have very granular control over who can do and who can perform which management tasks in which parts of the network. Also, more than before, we have focused on security with the new release of Omada. This means that our security gateways have gotten a large number of new features, enabling us to do proper securing of our customers' networks. And it will take a few examples out of these. Our security gateways have featured firewalls for a long time, but currently on a select number of models, we will offer IoT protection. And this IoT protection will take care of IoT devices inside of your network, will monitor these devices on a permanent basis, and will look for suspicious behavior that is out of the ordinary, well, is not considered normal behavior for an IoT device. And let me give you an example. If you have a camera, a surveillance camera inside of your network, it may be normal behavior that this camera will occasionally send email messages to certain users within the company. However, if this camera starts sending large number of emails to different email addresses and even email addresses outside of the company, this is considered suspicious behavior because your camera may have been infected with a virus and may become part of a botnet. In this particular case, the IoT protection mechanism will detect such a device and will quarantine the device so that it is no longer able to contaminate other cameras and devices in the internal network. This technology comes from a licensing agreement we have with the German company Avira. They have a product called Safe Things. This Safe Things technology is integrated into our Omada gateways. One more interesting feature is that our security gateways feature VPN tunnels. And these VPN tunnels now can be set up from gateway to gateway with minimal human interaction. You just have to add a site to a profile, and then the sites automatically will connect to the central site as you defined in the profile. So all of these VPN connections will be created automatically, and no user intervention is needed. And this is an enormous time saver because configuring firewall to firewall VPN connections used to take a lot of time and generally up to half a day per connection. And now this time is brought back to mere minutes. This is our lineup of controller devices. Currently shipping and shipping for almost 2 years is the OC200. This is the smaller of the two hardware controllers, and it is capable to manage up to 100 devices, so 100 access points, switches, and routers from this single box, and is intended for networks up to 1,000 users. For networks that are a bit bigger, we have the OC300 controller. This device will be shipping soon and allows customers to manage up to 500 devices. And these devices can be placed anywhere inside their own network. The OC200 is suitable for environments of up to 15,000 users. We do offer a free cloud access service, allowing you to access these controllers from anywhere in the world, either via the web interface or from the Omada smartphone app that is available for Android as well as iOS devices. If you choose to purchase these controllers, you will not need a separate PC for management, since all of the software that is needed for the management is pre-installed on these two boxes. Here we see a picture of the OC300, and this is the bigger box that allows up to 500 devices in your network. So summing it up, when it comes to the Omada controller, 3 options. going fully cloud-based, not needing any specific hardware for this. It offers the features of zero-touch provisioning, and it is paid for using a recurring license fee that's payable per device per year. The scale, in practical terms, is unlimited. And there are no practical limits to be encountered by companies in the Netherlands or Belgium. And we can have hundreds of thousands of devices and millions of users using the cloud-based solution. The Omada hardware controller, as told before, comes in two flavors: smaller unit for up to 100 devices, bigger unit for up to 500 devices, suited for small to medium networks, and comes with a one-time, relatively low hardware cost. And finally, as the middle ground in the controller lineup, the Omada SDN software, which you install on a PC or a server of your choice, could be Windows-based system or a Linux-based system. And the software is downloadable from our website, and we don't charge any extra fees for the software because it is included in the purchase of any Omada device. Then I want to show you a couple of slides highlighting the interface, the web interface of the Omada controller. This is the device onboarding screen where if you were to switch on new devices fresh out of the box, these devices advertise in the device onboarding screen, and from there you can adopt these devices. And adopting meaning that you start managing these devices from the Omada controller, instead of managing these devices on an individual autonomous base, which, by the way, is still possible. So if you don't want to use the Omada controller, you can manage each device individually. That being said, this is the screen to adopt new devices. This is also where you can click on devices and see the settings of a particular device. And in the right-hand side of the screen, we see an overview of one of the Omada gateways, highlighting the status of its 5 ports. The green ports showing the gigabit ports. The orange one is a port that is set to 100 megabits per second. And one of the ports is inactive, as you can see from the example. Once devices are onboarded and have gotten their configuration, this is the screen where you can monitor individual devices. You see a screen highlighting the port status of the 24-port switch, and you can zoom in to individual users and the traffic patterns that these users generate on the network. You can see these statistics on a per user, per application, per port, or per switch, or eventually per network basis. Other interesting feature is the topology view. The topology view shows you the logical configuration of your network, so how devices are being connected. And we see the security gateway in the left-hand side of the screen, connecting your network to the internet, protecting your network at the edge. Then we see a number of switches, the 3 symbols in the center of the picture. And then on the right-hand side, we have access points, controllers. And finally, at the final right-hand corner of the slide, we see clients, individual clients connected to those switch ports or wireless access points. Monitoring the monitoring dashboard comes pre-populated with a number of widgets showing you the operational status of the network. It allows you to see a breakdown of users or traffic by access point or by site. We have up to 20 of these cards which you can place on the dashboards and allowing you to fully customize the dashboard view to your needs. The controller also provides for logging, centralized logging. All log information from access points, from switches, from routers is collected centrally and available for systems administrators. And you can see here that the screen, these log entries are grouped by dates. We even have a calendar view allowing you to quickly find events that occurred at a specific date, and allowing you for better troubleshooting your network if errors occur. Traffic statistics is available for all devices. However, if you have the security gateway with the Avira software, it even allows you to see what individual users have done and have generated in traffic, and that's visible in the right-hand side of this slide, where you can see the individual users, their top 15 users generating most of the traffic, and what kind of traffic that is, so which applications they're using. Logs, there are many of them. There are more than 100 categories of logs. Yeah, not for all customers, all logs are needed. So we can make a selection of the types of log messages that you want to send to the Omada smartphone app so that you are notified. So you can send only the relevant to those events most relevant to your organization. You can send those to the smartphone app so that you can respond in time. The Omada app offers all of the functionality of the web-based interface, and you can configure and monitor all of the network elements from the app. And obviously, because of the generally larger screen real estate, the web browser lends itself a bit better to certain tasks. But any task can be performed from within the Omada app. Then to the other members of the Omada family. The Omada family consists, as said, of access points, switches, and security gateways. When it comes to access points, we have four types, as seen in the example before. The in-room wall plate access points that are very well suited for hotel rooms, student residences, apartment buildings, small rental offices, whereas the outdoor environment is best suited to weatherproof outdoor access points. Then we have a number of ceiling mount access points lending themselves best to conference rooms, corridors, open spaces, lobbies, etc. And then finally, we have a number of access points that are geared specifically to high density scenarios where large number of users come together in public spaces. In the current Corona periods, this may not be the best possible scenario, but these access points are intended for large public spaces such as railway stations, concert halls, sports arenas, shopping centers, where a large number of potential users come together and need access. This diagram lists the ceiling mount access points, the entire lineup that we have. We won't go into all of the details of these access points, but suffice to say that we have 2 Wi-Fi 4 access points serving low density areas like parking, stairways, other areas within buildings that have very low user densities and where you want to provide cost-effective coverage of the Wi-Fi network. Then the center 3 access points are our mainstream Wi-Fi 5 access points, serving these indoor corridor, meeting room, smaller to mid-sized meeting rooms, lobbies, where the 265 HD, that's the 5th access point from the left-hand side, is geared towards higher density environments, but still being a Wi-Fi 5 access point. And then finally, we have 3 Wi-Fi 6 access points, certainly also geared towards higher density scenarios, because that's one of the strong points of Wi-Fi 6. And we have models with 2 spatial streams, 4 spatial streams, and 4 plus 8 spatial streams available, suitable for all types of environments up to these very dense environments. This brings us to the remainder of the lineup. We have wall plates ranging here too from Wi-Fi 4 access points, that's the 115 wall access point, up to Wi-Fi 5 wall plates. We have 2 form factors. One form factor features a single Ethernet port on the front, and the 2 more rectangular shaped wall plates have 3 ports at the bottom of the unit. And one port of these also supplies PoE, so it can provide devices like an IP telephone with power via the Ethernet cable. On the right-hand side of the slide, we have our 3 outdoor access points, and we have 1 each for Wi-Fi 4, Wi-Fi 5, and Wi-Fi 6. The Wi-Fi 6 access point is coming and is expected to arrive in the final quarter of this year. Then we'll move on to switches. The switches on this particular slide are all available and are shipping or will be shipping very soon. This is our entry-level lineup of switches for the Omada SDN family. These feature gigabit ports for connection of end-user devices, and feature, in most cases at least, gigabit uplinks to connect them to other parts of the network, or to connect them to one of the other switches from this family via SFP slots. So we go from 8 ports on the left-hand side to 24 ports for the switches on the right-hand side. Well, these switches all are shipping or are shipping very soon. The switches on the next page are coming to Europe later this year. They feature more features. These are layer 2 plus managed switches, offer more routing features, offer more layer 2 features, more extensive access control lists, more separation between tenants with Q&Q features. And these offer a more extensive feature set for more demanding use cases. Then one step up in the line are our switches with 10 gigabit uplink connectors. These switches feature gigabit ports with 10 gig uplinks, or as is the case with the model on the right-hand side, 2.5 gigabits multi-rate gigabit ports, providing 2.5 gigabit per port, and all the same with two 10 gigabits uplink ports, allowing it to connect to the remainder of the network. Offering a number of PoE models. Our PoE models have the letter P in their product name. So the model on the left-hand side provides 24 ports with PoE power. And the right-hand model provides up to 30 watts of power for each of its 2.5 gigabit ports, which makes this switch ideal to connect the Omada Wi-Fi 6 access points, because they feature 2.5 gigabit ports as well, and they need the 30 watts of power. And then finally, in this particular series, we have a number of aggregation switches that serve to connect the other switches together. If we have multiple floors and we have fiber cabling running between the floors of a building, then the 16 ports or the 8 ports 10 gigabit switches, those are the two on the right-hand side, the diagram. And they lend themselves very well to connecting other parts of the network and binding them together, and providing a number of 10 gigabit ports, perhaps for local devices that require 10 gigabit connectivity. The model on the left-hand side is specifically intended for our fastest access point coming next year, which provides multiple 5 gigahertz radios. And this particular access point uses the new PoE++ standards. In other words, it needs more than 30 watts of power to operate. And the switch on the left-hand side is able to provide up to 60 watts of power on its 4 ports. So when we put all the pieces together in a single network, we see the Wi-Fi 6 ceiling mount access points intended for these high density environments. For example, in a restaurant or a big meeting room, we see the wall plates placed in guest rooms, and we see outdoor access points placed in the outdoor areas, such as the swimming pool, or it may be a garden or a sports outdoor sports arena, where we would place these access points. The left-hand switch, the 2210 HPM2, is a switch that can supply the Wi-Fi 6 access points with adequate power and bandwidth, whereas the other models provide gigabit ports to the lower density wall plate and outdoor access points. And the switch in the center provides the aggregation to bind all of these elements of the network together, and provides ports for use of servers, printers, and maybe surveillance cameras that are connected via a cable connection. Finally, we also have solutions specifically dedicated to elevators, where we have a set of units, one of them placed stationary within the building, and one unit in the elevator itself, providing access for the users that are in the elevator at that point in time. Then we come on to the final member of the Omada SDN family of products, our two new security gateways. We have a smaller model which lends itself very well for remote offices, small remote or teleworker offices. It's a 5-port unit allowing you to have a handful of LAN ports or a LAN demilitarized zone port, and 1 or 2 wide area network ports, allowing you to balance the traffic over multiple internet connections. And it offers this auto VPN feature. So if you deploy it at an employee home office, it's very quick to establish a secure VPN tunnel to the company headquarters. The model to the right-hand side, the 7206, it comes with the Avira software and offers very extensive security features, crawling your network, searching for suspicious behavior, searching for infections, suspicious behavior of devices, but also suspicious behaviors of the devices of your users. And it is capable of detecting these and blocking potential attacks early on. This slide sums up the features of our Omada security gateway product lineup, and which indeed brings me almost to the end of my part of the presentation. I just want to repeat again the existence of the promotion for which all Copaco customers in Belgium and Luxembourg are eligible. The promotion involves a number of the devices we have seen throughout the presentation. The OC200 controller, one of the Omada switches, a 10-port model with power, and a 24-port model with power over Ethernet, and 3 of our access points with the 265 high-density model and 2 of the mainstream Wi-Fi 5 models. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for attending, and we are happy to answer your questions if you have any at this point. Again, thank you for watching, and have a nice fair today.